Monday morning, and we are back again with Ted Capshaw. Hey, Ted.
Hey.
So I brought this topic forward to Ted because I have a few questions about this. Okay. I had an exchange in my inbox, and this person approached me through the guise of trying to be helpful, right? They were trying to be helpful. But then after the exchange went back and forth a few times, I just came to the realization that they just wanted to be right. They weren't really trying to help. They just wanted to be right. So, and then I was thinking about this is like our members work with clients, right? Just like you work with clients, and you're putting forward suggestions, information, things that you feel that they should be doing. And if just putting that information forward is being helpful, but then it's also, where does the desire to be right? Because if you get them, if they go and do what you want to do, like if they publish the copy that you want them to publish in the way that you want them to publish it, then you end up being right. So how do we match up these two intentions and go into things, especially with working with clients, the correct way?
Yeah, it's a tricky one because you are the expert, right?
Yeah.
If they have hired you, they've hired you to be the expert. And so you could easily take the stance of, hey, I'm right. You've asked me to write this and I'm right. Right. And you have to walk this line because you're going to butt up against, the CEO that hires you to write for them and is dictating what you write and how you write it and whatever. And you're going to have to be able to push back on that because in many instances, you are going to be right. Mm-hmm. Right. Now, there's other instances, which I think is what you're referencing, that are egos in the way. Mm-hmm. And that's where I want you to pause and go, why am I fighting this fight? Like, if I just did what they're asking me to do, is it really going to have an impact on the outcome? Is it going to have an impact on the relationship? And if the answer is no, just do it. Instead of going back and forth and like, this person's not listening to me or whatever. It's fine because I talk to Jackson, my older son, about this all the time. I'm like, bud, you don't always have to be right. You don't always have to mostly with his brother, right? Like, you don't have to overturn everything that he says. Sometimes just go, oh, that's a good point, Maxwell. And that just goes a long way. And so I think some of this is an ego thing for all of us. And I'm not going to go the deep end of the pool as much as you're going to have to explore as an individual why you feel like you need to be right all the time. Is it because of some experience that you had, or you don't feel like you're being heard, or they don't understand your value and all the rest of it? But this is just a powerful point you're bringing up today,
And I've talked about him before. If anybody hasn't, go watch the documentary Stutz, Stutz on Netflix. It's incredible. And I would love your take on this, Ted. He didn't say this on the documentary, but I heard in another interview with him. He was talking about being detached from the result, the end result. And the picture that he painted was that when he was a college basketball player, right? And he saw the ref with like the whistle here. So he thought the ref was going to blow the whistle, and he just went for like a 3-pointer, like, just shooting the ball across the court, and he got it. And the ref wasn't actually blowing the whistle. He was waiting to blow the whistle. So it counted, and his team won because of that. And he was saying that he was not even worried about whether the ball went through the hole. He was just enjoying the process of throwing it across the court type of thing, right? And that's why I wonder when this comes into play, like if you're just worried about the process, then you're just being concerned about being helpful throughout, like what you're contributing, right? And you're detached from the end result of whether what you created is the right thing or what the metrics were, or what the results were at the other end of it. So I think it's it's a very difficult thing to practice, right? It's being detached from that result.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I can tell you specifically, you're like sparking something for me in my world as a coach. I can't be attached to the outcome.
Yeah.
I don't own the outcome. And you as somebody that's writing and whatever, like you always won't control the outcome. Right. Mm-hmm. And so it's an interesting thing because I very much am where my feet are with my clients and trying to offer value in the very specific conversation or the meeting, but not being attached to the outcome as if they don't get done what they're, they want help guiding them to create a vision and it doesn't come to fruition. I can't own that necessarily. Now, you could easily take that as like, what, he doesn't have ownership mentality, or he's not really wanting the best interest for his clients. No, that's not what I'm saying. But if I get attached to that, to use your language, that can throw hiccups for me mentally. And then I probably wouldn't be providing the in the moment value that I need to be.
So
it's a good,
do you step in if they don't even create the vision? You know what I mean? Like, so you're putting forward that the thing that you need to do is create your vision, and then the onus is on them to actually create it, right? And not for it to come to fruition already, but do you step in if they haven't even done the task?
Well, here's the thing. The answer is no.
Okay.
Like, I'll hold them to accountability. I'll nudge them. But I always say, if I'm doing more work with my client, then I'm not a good coach.
Wow.
But to your point, ego kicks in, and then all of a sudden you go, well, my value will be to get them to the end of the line, the finish line. So I get very attached to the outcome, and I start picking up the pieces. And what I've done is I've failed, because now I've enabled my client to not do the work, and for me to boost my own level of value, right? Which I probably did a lot more of early in my coaching career, right? Because I thought that's where I added the value. Like, oh, we achieved the outcome. First of all, it's not my company, it's their outcome, not mine.
Wow. Interesting. Because I think it is difficult for writers. I would love them to live more in the process of writing, because I think that's where their enjoyment lies, in the process of like the results of what happens from their writing. You know, like obviously have the best intentions to drive results and to up metrics and all that. But if you can live in the state of enjoyment of the writing, I think that it feeds that stuff without you even trying to. You get the 3 points without even attempting to. So this is a tricky one for homework, Ted. Is there any homework today, or is it just to sit in this? What do you think somebody should take away from today?
I don't want to just force feed something practical. It's just something to think about. It's just something to do some self-evaluation around. Like, do you find yourself in those instances where you just feel like you have to be right? Sometimes you just have to sit back and listen and offer the value that you do. You used a good word, like you need to detach from it a little bit.
And if this helps anybody else, one of the things that has super duper helped me in relationships, because relationships is a big place where this shows up. Is it worth being right? You know, is it worth Jackson arguing with Maxwell in order to be right? Or is it better for him to just sit back, and if he's right, it'll come out at the end of the day, you know? Awesome. Well, thank you, Ted. We'll be back with everybody next week. We'll see you then.
Take care.